To wrap this all up for today, I know this has been a lot of terms and stuff, but next week it'll start in lecture. It'll start to come together more for you. All right. So we had from all of this. There's two major laws for inheritance. One's called the law of segregation. And the second one's called the law of independent assortment. Okay? And these apply to when organisms are reproducing. So when you go to reproduce, you make your sex cells, your eggs or your sperm. Okay? So when you go to reproduce, okay, during has one R, right? During gamete or sex cell, okay, gamete formation. At this point, I wouldn't introduce the term meiosis to them, okay? But during gamete formation, okay, the pair of factors separate from each other. Okay, separate. So, like when we talked about big A, little a, if we were just talking about the one trait, big A, little a, when the mom makes her eggs, okay, these don't get inherited together. Okay, in the egg, one goes in one egg and one goes in the other egg. Okay, and it's totally random as to which one goes in which egg, but only one from each pair goes into the egg. Okay, so that's the law of segregation. That these pair of factors or genes, you can call them genes, that they will separate from each other when you make your sex cells. So in you, they're together, but when you make your eggs or your sperm, they separate from each other. Okay? And then the other law, the law of independent assortment, okay, talks about what we talked about when we assumed that the traits were on independent chromosomes. Okay? So here, factors on separate chromosomes, so they're not linked, okay, on separate chromosomes, okay, assort randomly during gamete formation or sex cell formation. Okay. All right. And so if I go back and I'll just draw that for you again. So remember when we started off, when we big A, little a, and then we had to stick big B, okay, little b. If they are on separate chromosomes, then we can have 4 different eggs and 4 different sperm because they will assort randomly and independently. And that's why you can get an egg with a big A and a big B, or an egg with a big A and a little b. Okay, or a little a and a big B, or an egg with a little a and a little b, because they will segregate randomly and assort themselves also independently of each other. Okay, so the A's and the B's are independent of each other, and even the B's are independent of each other, and the A's are independent of each other if they're on separate chromosomes. So only if they're on separate chromosomes. If they're linked, this law does not apply. Okay? So yeah, that's a lot of terms that you guys learned today that over the next 2 weeks of lecture, Dr. Elser is going to hit you up with probability in a big way starting next week, and then throw all of this in either the end of next week or the start of the next week. Okay? This is on the concept review sheet, but you could maybe do a summary of the terms that, like, okay, so these were the summary of the terms that you should have gotten today, that you should have, that we went over today. They're on the concept review sheet, or if you want to type up your own and then hand it out to them at the end, or say, that was a lot of terms, I'm going to post a term sheet for you after my last lab this week, because if you're teaching 3 labs, you don't want to have it up forever.